Hi, this is Sara Elizabeth with Life Out Loud Films, and I want to share with you some things that I have learned over the years about investors that I didn't know when I started this whole process. And there's three that I'm going to share today. The first one is something that one of my very first investors shared with me, and I found it to be true time and time again. And he said to me, "Sara Elizabeth, I have never invested in other companies, products, or ideas. I always invest in people." And I've found that to be true pretty much across the board. My investors are believing in the project and writing a check because they believe that I'm going to be able to make this happen. Without me, they would not necessarily be invested in this particular project. A lot of times they'll say, you remind me of me when I was young, or I really believe in you and what you're for, what you stand for, and what you want to do. So, that's a really strong, powerful belief that they have in you. And it really just means that your belief in yourself needs to be stronger than anyone else's, because it's that belief that is going to allow investors to trust you. It's going to draw them to you, and it's going to be why they feel comfortable writing a check to get involved in your project. The other thing that I found is, when I started raising money for our first film, we were willing to take money as low as like $5,000 a share. And then I was advised to raise our minimum up to $50,000 a share. And once we did that, all of a sudden, we were getting investors to come on board. And what I learned is a couple things. First of all, it's the value of the proposition that you're making. For them, the value of investing at something at $50,000 meant more and had a higher value than just putting in $5,000 to make a film happen. Also, you'll find that a lot of higher wealth individuals, a lot of them have said, it's not worth it for them to get involved at $5,000 or $10,000. They'd much rather either get involved at a higher level or don't get involved at all. It's not worth their time. You also find that if you take money from a lot of lower shares, I've found that sometimes those will tend to be investors that will require a lot more maintenance than those that understand that there is a risk in any investment, but because of their personal situation, they're okay. Getting involved in writing checks for larger amounts don't affect them as much because of the wealth behind them. You never want to be the person that's taking money from someone that really can't afford to possibly lose it, that they're going to lose their house or they're not going to be able to pay for their daughter's wedding. So really look at not only what you're asking people for, what is your minimum, what does that value say, and then who are you going to raise this money. The third thing that I learned is most of our investors are not in it for the ROI. The rate of return. Now, you have to be able to show them that you know what you're doing and be able to show the numbers and the potential, and also that allow them to believe that you are the right person to keep this film under budget, on time, and that you have a strong strategy to make it happen and get them their money back. That's all important. But at the end of the day, I find that all of my investors are also doing it for another reason. And many times that reason is stronger than the need to or the want to make money. They want to promote economic development or tourism. Maybe they believe in the message that is attached to the film itself. They might care about the subject matter of the film, or if it's tied to a true story, that story is very important to them. And then there's people too that think it'd be really cool to be a part of a film, and they want to be able to come to set, see what's happening, and it's the intrigue of the film industry that is the reason that they want to get involved. But as you're talking to people, be clear that it's not usually an independent film about just the financial commitment. So identify what it is that each person that you're speaking with is interested in, and make sure that as you're speaking with them, you're able to also speak to really the true interest and reason that they're getting involved. So those are 3 things that I did not know when I got started, and I have learned over the process. And identifying those things every time I get involved in a new project makes that process a little bit easier. So I hope that those are helpful to you as you start to or continue to raise money for your project. And just know that we are always here to help you, and you can find more information like this at lifeoutloudfilms.com. Keep living life out loud.